Outlander is one of our yummiest guilty pleasures. We know there is no character development or anything intelligent or profound to take away from the show, but we just can't stop watching. It's got you hooked from the get-go and delivered on all the right fronts. It's passionate, satiates our craving for romance, and above all, it's a period piece. Today, we'll explore some of the romantic and raunchiest scenes that the show has graced us with. To start with, let's establish a premise for our non-Outlander fans watching. The show has 6 seasons, with the latest premiering this year in March. It follows the story of Claire Randall, an English nurse living in 1945. Mrs. Randall mysteriously travels back to 1743 while she's on her honeymoon with her husband and meets the haughty Jamie Fraser. She marries the 18th century Scottish man and begins a passionate and loving relationship. We'd marry a Scottish man if he looked like Sam Heughan too, just by the way. The show is based on the book series by Diana Gabaldon, the same name. Of course, the on-screen fire chemistry between Heughan and Katrina Balfe is one of the primary reasons of the show's success. Without further ado, let's begin. First off, we have the wedding night at number 10. The scene aired in the 7th episode of the first season and till date is one of the most talked about scenes in the show's history. Well, for a good reason. To save herself from Blackjack Randall, Claire must marry Jamie, so she won't be handed over to Randall and thrown out of the country if she marries the Scot. Yes, we get how archaic this sounds, but it's the 18th century, y'all. The two tied the knot in a romantic AF ceremony in a candle-lit church. Jamie says, "You are blood of my blood and bone of my bone." Major points for Katrina for standing her ground in the scene. We'd be a puddle if Sam Heughan ever said these words to us. Anyway, moving on to the bits, the two consummate by going at it for 3 freaking times. Yep, 3 times in one night on their wedding day. It was the first time the two were being appropriately intimate on screen, and boy was it worth it. Following up, Jamie saves Claire from Jack Randall at number 9. The honeymoon is well and over in exactly the next episode. In episode 8, Jamie rescues Claire in a scene of attempted Jack Randall kidnaps the dame and holds her at Fort William. As Claire tries to outsmart her captor by declaring that she works under the Duke of Sandringham, Randall is initially thrown off. However, her smartness is only short-lived as she gets caught in her web of lies, and Randall figures that she's not familiar with the Duke. In a graphic AF scene, this is the scene in the same episode. Her captor cuts her clothes and bends her over a desk. Right on cue, Jamie enters the scene. We see him hanging in the window as the hunk asks Randall to release his wife. He said, "I thank you for taking your hands off my wife." What did he say? Puddle. What's more, Claire chooses her second husband over her first at number 8. In episode 9 of the same season, Jamie bids farewell to her wife so she can return to a safer time. Even isn't good enough for her to stay, considering what the poor girl has gone through. That's what you might think, but not our girl Claire. She's got her priorities right as she abandons her first husband from the future and stays in the past with Jamie. The scene is quite touching, and we may or may not have shed a tear. While it sounds silly, we live for this type of mushy romance, which brings us to our next point. Heughan always seems to rescue his fictional wife from the future. Up next at number 7, Jamie rescues Claire from a witch trial. The scene takes place in the 11th episode of the first season. We're quoting from the first season because it's the best. Something about new love, soft touches, and cute moments have us favoring this one over the others. Getting back on track, the trials never seem to end with Claire. The girl is now being accused of being a witch. Right when things get rough, Jamie jumps in and rescues her. He also yells at the crowd to let his wife go. While this may be a common occurrence of bravery, things get heated in the season's climax. And this isn't the only climax that's happening in this episode. To save herself, Claire goes back to 1945, but before she leaves, Jamie says goodbye to her in the best way, with his hands. The two, or rather the Scot, go at it with his hands, and when Claire tries to reciprocate, he says he wants to watch her. Swoon. Not to mention, the couple finally admitted their feelings at number 6. The confession takes place in the 12th episode. The entire scene is insanely sweet, mushy, and romantic. This scene had us yearning for a period romance and a hero-like figure like Jamie. In the episode, Jamie professes his love for the lady by saying he wanted her from the first moment he saw her. He continues that he loved her from the moment she first wept in his arms the first night, and how when he woke up, he loved her more than he did the day before. Someone pass us the tissues. Also, 21st century boys, are you listening to this? Take notes, please. Apart from the steamy time, this is one of our favorite scenes throughout the 6 seasons of the show. Let's learn about the reunion at number 5. Jamie and Claire have been kept apart for 20 freaking years, and Claire thinks that her husband from the 18th century was killed in the Battle of Culloden. She quickly travels back when she discovers that he wasn't in the 6th episode of season 3. The two meet each other for the first time after years in Jamie's print shop. When he sees her, the man faints. The lovers have been reunited after 20 years, so there has to be a time. A sweet Jamie says he'd very much like to kiss Claire, and they do. Also, reunion is better than breakup. The reunion is blissful for the two, though it takes some time to refamiliarize. Coming up, some more reunion intimacy at number 4. In the 11th episode of the 3rd season, there's some more adventure for the couple. They have separated Our Lady from the future from her lover and his crew, and she finds herself stranded on an island. She attracts Jamie's attention by using her survival skills, and as the two run to each other, Jamie announces he fears he'd lost her again. Things get risk soon after they board a ship to Scotland. Claire thinks it's the perfect time for a quickie despite being drunk from turtle soup and feverish. What we say? Our girl has her priorities straight. They go at it as Jamie locks the cabin door. They don't even stop when a shipmate knocks at the door, offering them a second helping of the soup. Next up at number 3, we present waking up on another continent. In the finale of season 3, the couple finds themselves washed up on America's shores after their ship got wrecked in a storm. The two settle down and build a home on Fraser's Ridge. In the following season, even after being together for 20 years, the couple wants to keep the passion alive, so what they do? Have sex for the first time in America next to an outdoor fire. We'd mount our partner too if they said what Jamie did. The man gave a heartfelt speech in which he declared his unending love for Claire and assured that his soul would remain hers even after his physical body had died. How and where can we find a man like Jamie? Asking for a friend, of course. Let's learn more about when Jamie meets Claire at the window at number 2. In the 11th episode of season 5, things get we can't believe we're saying this, but they do. Claire douses herself with perfume, hoping to get some action, but sadly, Jamie falls asleep before our girl can get some. She tries to sleep too, but a hot flash disturbs her and keeps her tossing and turning. She goes to a window to ride it out. Jamie finds her there when he wakes up and is met with the infamous perfume. The man puts his mouth to use. While oral may be too graphic for some, we loved the menopausal depiction and Claire's appetite. Lastly, at number 1, we have Claire returning to Jamie after the kidnapping. Claire was kidnapped way back in season 5, but is rescued by Jamie instantly in the season 6 premiere. When she's recovered, she instigates sexy time with her lover, bringing the two closer. At this point, Jamie has had his share of traumatic experiences, which have forced the two to get some distance, but Claire's pain only brings them closer. Though the bond is only physical for now, we see the strength of the underlying bond of the closeness the two share. That's a wrap for this video. Which Outlander scene has been your favorite? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.